What's going on, guys? It is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you an awesome video. My top 10 favorite launches on roller coasters I've ridden, and these are most of them are specific launches, some of them not as much, but let's move on. My 10 favorite launches on roller coasters I've ridden, and one thing I've been thinking about, today basically, I've been thinking about making a potential second channel with a bunch of top tens and stuff about just a bunch of random stuff, and it would be filled with Fortnite videos and video game videos and stuff like that. A bunch of weird videos that can be pretty cool. And I was thinking about doing that in the near future, but here are my top 10 favorite launches on roller coasters I've ridden. Let's move on to number 10, which is Maverick's first lift hill launch. And this launch definitely sets the scene for this coaster. And Maverick's first lift hill launch is a very fun element. You just quickly accelerate up the lift hill, and it seems like you're going faster and faster as you climb to the top. And then once you get to the top, you go through this awesome beyond vertical drop. And especially if you're in the back row, this is a really exhilarating launch, especially when you exit the launch and thrust into that drop. It's a very fun start to Maverick. And yeah, moving on, we have Flight of Fear's launch out of the UFO, and this is the main spaceship that the ride is themed to. You'll launch out of this UFO, the station is inside this UFO with a bunch of aliens around for the theming, but you launch out of the UFO into basically complete darkness, which kind of represents outer space, and it's a really cool feeling with that launch. But other than that first launch, the rest of the ride isn't that great. But Flight of Fear, that launch is seriously worth one ride for a credit. So overall, the first launch on Flight of Fear, definitely something that I really enjoy. Number 8 is Joker's Jinxes launch, and this is basically the better version of Flight of Fear's launch. Even though Flight of Fear's launch is in the dark, it's not as smooth as Joker's Jinx's launch. Joker's Jinx has a smoother launch, and it doesn't have a mid-course brake run on the ride, but getting to the launch, this is just such a fun launch. It's not really intense, but it's just so much fun. Accelerating from 0 to 55 miles per hour, that's just a very exhilarating launch, and I really do enjoy this coaster's first launch out of every other part of the ride. That launch is just so much fun. Number 7 is V2's launches, and kind of like Joker's Jinx, these are just some fun launches, but they are more intense. And V2, you have launches that go forwards and backwards, and they're all really good launches. And my favorite launch on these Infinite Impulse coasters is the first launch, because it's really unexpected, and you fly out of the station, and it's really exhilarating. And it's super fun as well. So V2, very good launches, but not as good as Wicked Twisters, which is at the number 6 spot. And these launches seem to be even more exhilarating and intense than V2's. They're similar, but Wicked Twister, in my opinion, is the better coaster because the launches are more exhilarating and intense. And overall, this coaster, in my opinion, is just better. And I'm one of those really big fans of Wicked Twister, even though not too many people think this coaster is something that stands out. But I really do like the launches on here. They're very fun, and they're pretty intense as well. Number 5 is Backlot Stunt Coaster's intense first launch, and you may be wondering why this is so high on the list. I mean, I haven't ridden that many launch coasters, but this is seriously the most underrated launch on any roller coaster I have ridden. And this launch, even though you only go from 0 to 40 miles per hour, you seriously feel some crazy G-forces on that launch into the massive helix. that takes you to the top of the ride. Like, you have some crazy intensity with that launch, even though it's not the craziest acceleration. Once you get up to that high speed, it's just really intense, and it's really fun and exhilarating. So, next we have Verbolten's first launch into the Black Forest building, and the other launch on Verbolten could have made it on here, but it loses its speed so quickly that I didn't put it on here. But Verbolten's first launch into the Black Forest building is seriously an awesome launch. Like, you have these relaxing turns, yada yada yada, for about a few seconds. Like, it's a nice relaxing ride, you think, and then boom, you accelerate really quickly into a tunnel, which is the building that the Black Forest is in, and this is a very exciting part of the ride and definitely sets the scene up for what's coming ahead. So moving on, we have number 3, and these are the 3 like elite launches, and it's Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast's backwards launch. And Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, this launch going backwards, this coaster used to go forwards, but they changed it to Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, and this coaster has one amazing backwards launch, and it's just such an exhilarating launch. Super fast, you accelerate real quickly, and it's just so much fun. Of all Premier Rides coasters, this is the most intense launch of them all, and seriously the most fun. I really love the backwards launch on Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. Number 2 is Maverick's Tunnel launch, and this is a very fun launch, and like, especially at night. Like, at nighttime you cannot see the track, and like, you cannot see anything ahead of you. Like, even during when the ride is in sunset motion, like when it's sunset or nighttime, you cannot see the track ahead of you, and that turn just comes out of nowhere and is very surprising. And overall, this tunnel launch is one of the craziest launches I've ever ridden on. Super intense, super powerful, great G-forces. This is just such a fun launch. Such a great one. But not as good as Top Thrill Dragster's first launch. It's very, very hard to beat this launch. You go from 0 to 120 in 3.8 seconds, and it's very intense, very fun, and super exhilarating with all that wind in your face. And if you ride this front row at night, I didn't get to do front row at night in like 2 years. Like, in 2016, I got to do front row at night. It just gets even better at nighttime because it's even more intense and powerful than it is during the morning. But still, Top Thrill Dragster, awesome first launch. Seriously worth that long line. And thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, stay tuned for more videos. And before I finish off, I might potentially make that second channel with a bunch of like random top 10s and random videos and stuff. It's something to think about for me, and I wonder what you guys think about it, and what do you guys think about it, about me creating a second channel? Tell me in the comments below. But as always, stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.